Brandon, I wish to basically see if she is willing to link up with me, and I can draw from her power as a goddess to see if I can use that to channel a portal for us to go 50 miles.
You can ask this by all means. She looked horribly weak.
Yeah, I know. But I'm not trying to actually take power from her, but I want to basically...
That's literally what I just heard you say.
Well, I want to use that as my guide, basically. Use her as my guide, but I'm not trying to drain her power. I'm trying to use her as a compass.
How is a person a compass?
She knows.
I don't follow what you're saying.
She knows.
You know this land too. You cast a spell and you got a 3-dimensional map in the sand.
Okay.
That showed you where the life was.
Well, I guess at that point I will just simply try to portal us there. Straight up. So, I'm going to spend... Oops, I'm going to spend one of my competency dice on this, because I do not want to be failing if I can help it. I'm going to be using it on the effect, though. The activation, I'm going to keep it this. I activated. Lowest die was a 3. So now I'm going to use the competency die on the effect and try and portal us. I'm going to gather everyone near me inside the hut that I made. And the portal will open beneath our ground. Beneath our feet, sorry. So that is... 22. 22.
Okay, hold on.
Sure.
So, you're using wizardry to do a teleportation, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so teleportation, you're going to have to get the weight of this group. Jim is a heavy weight.
Okay.
Not to pick on you, Jim.
No. I totally get that. I believe based on when I looked at it for Walt a couple weeks ago, Jim is going to be way out of, because I'm going to need 10 die of teleport in order to get Jim. Unless I do it in well, can I even get
you know what? I can just try to catch up, I guess. I don't know what to do, man.
Since you don't mind the weather.
No, this ain't gonna hurt me none. Y'all need to get somewhere where you can get some water and just leave before you do anything. Y'all ain't no condition to fight nobody. Whoever's out there, I can handle it. And if for some reason something happens, well, it's been an honor to work with you people.
Well, I want to give him something to help him, because I believe with 5 dice I can carry everybody else in this group. He's the only question.
Wait a minute, I got an idea. Ghost Light, you got that little guy inside of you, right?
Little inside of me?
Yeah, the little energy guy inside of you, right?
I don't know that I can agree with that characterization, but I get your point.
I think I know what his idea is.
It only works with you, right? As far as you know? Maybe you could use him to power her up.
Oh, different idea than what I thought he was going to say.
You know, he's like energy or something. You know, energy power's power. You know? Maybe he could do something. Make it spend a competency dice and see if that would work. You know? Yes, these are straws, okay? See these straws?
I just don't think... yeah, I mean...
So.
Resnick doesn't know how magic works, and he doesn't think the wisp way, so it's not an idea that he'd come up with. So if Jim says that out loud, and then Kayla determines as a wizard that is actually possible, then he might consider it. But it's not something that he would be. He doesn't. That's not his way of thinking. It's
so
not
right, Brandon, yeah. I can carry 4,480 pounds.
Where are you getting that?
So I start with my character's base weight. I calculated about 140. Actually, I have it written as 148 in my character history, but I went down to
Hold on,
140.
no. So where are you getting the weight? Because I was literally about to
Okay.
ask Aldo where weights are.
On page 69, because page 68 covers the teleport. Page 69 tells you that for every die on top of the first, at that point you double the weight. Because that, like I said, I did this for Walt's character recently in Supers. When I was trying to calculate if he could carry something for you guys.
All right, so you can teleport up to your own mass, basically.
And then
so
every die I'm spending into that on the weight of it, because so I have to choose distance as the TN, and then every die I'm choosing on top of that is going to be doubling the initial weight. So 140 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 4,480.
But you're at 0 distance.
Right.
You're literally not teleporting at that point.
That's true. So I need 3 dice of teleport at TN9 to get us to the 50 miles. So at that point I have I can times 2 with 2 of those dice. So
you can times 4 it, right?
No, because it's squaring. So 140 times 2, then what that is times 2 again.
So that's spending 2 dice on extra mass. That's 560.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think for 4 people, you're probably coming in a little light at that point. Well, actually, you're only trying to teleport 3 people effectively with that. So you've got that, I'd say. Because you're already covered.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So 560 plus me at that point for the extra mass. So I can cover everybody else.
About 600 pounds according to this, because according to the chart, one D size big is like the size of a grizzly bear.
Now, if I can get
about 600 pounds.
Yeah, if I can somehow get 3 more dice, I can get our diamond friend as well. What I can suggest at that point. So I'm just too weak out here. I can only take 3 of us. But Jim had something similar to what I'm thinking. If Jim's walking, maybe Ghostlight's friend can guide, because Ghostlight's friend always knows where Ghostlight is, right? Your friend always knows where you are?
I don't communicate with the Wisp the way that you do with the Scarab Queen. So,
okay.
When you've seen me release the Traveler, right?
Yeah, I have.
I have to concentrate on that, and I don't have any of my abilities when he's out scouting. None whatsoever. And I don't know what would happen if I sent the Traveler out and then we were shunted 50 miles.
I get
That's
that.
not the way it's not
the way it works.
My little buddy.
Yeah.
So 3 die of extra mass would be able to get the entire group, Alice.
Okay, so I'll just spend the extra competency die that I had, bringing me down to all my dice have been spent now, and that will spend in the extra mass. At that point, I can carry everyone.
Okay.
So
then you. And how many dice do you have to roll?
I have 3 dice to roll.
So that sounds like a high roll on 3 dice, Alice.
Actually, the distance, if you look at page 68, the TN's not that hard. I have a TN 9 to a TN 12 at best. So it's actually.
I think it's a TN 12 to 15.
Okay,
Brandon,
sure.
Can we donate competency dice?
Nope.
Nope. That's actually.
That's leadership. If you have somebody with leadership, they get to do that kind of thing.
I actually got 8.
They do that in Bash too.
I got
Like
554 on my dice, so 14.
Okay. So, you guys, Alice, using your previous knowledge of when you sensed when you first arrived out here, you cast your spell. All of you guys are in the hut. Jim, having basically been moved into it, but can't really move that much at all. And the gate opens up beneath all of you guys. You feel yourselves fall, and you suddenly land. For all of you, either sturdy enough or fast enough to land gracefully, and you land, and then all of a sudden the sand that Alice baked into a makeshift clay basically smacks down on top of you, having similarly come through the portal.
Oops.
Here you find yourselves in farmlands and such, and there's a giant river out in front of you that you guys can see not very far away. There are people moving about, and here you realize how much all of your costumes, all of your get-ups stand out.
Sorry about the rough landing. I didn't know how to park the house.
It's fine.
Okay,
Fine,
I'm gonna
Taylor.
walk right over to Alice's character. I'll pick her up and carry her to the water.
Okay.
I dropped myself in the water happily. Ah!
And being here,
Jim.
being here, Alice, your magic is not returning at the negatives I've got you under, but
Okay.
it feels good. You feel far better than out in the middle of the desert.
Okay. Am I still walking around at one fort?
Yes, you are. You
Okay.
you have not recovered a fortitude.
Sure thing. 1 fortitude it is. But the water feels good.
Oh
Sounds
yes,
good.
yes it does.
I'm gonna check on my wife.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
I got us here.
Thank you. Good job.
You're welcome. Now it's your turn. I'm gonna swim for a while. Ooh, is that fish?
All right. Do you know what we're looking for now that we're here? And did we bring Isis, or should we couldn't bring her?
Yeah, you guys brought Isis.
We got Isis.
We brought Isis.
So as Ghostlight, you look around, and you guys are in the farmlands here and such, but you can see the structure that you were looking at from a great distance before. There's a stone platform, a very large stone platform built up and such. Alice, as you're swimming around, you recognize this place.
Okay.
The platform was shown to you in a vision when you first arrived at the Met.
Oh yeah.
And surveyed the place, the damage out there.
I remember that scene in my brain. Hey, Ghostlight.
Yeah.
I think I know this place. Scarab Queen showed it to me when I first showed up at the Met.
Why'd she show it to you?
The power that hit the cars. I was asking her how the cars were getting blown up like that, and she showed me this place. And see that platform over there? And I start pulling myself out of the water, and
I mean, it's like not just you guys see it from a distance. So.
And I start pulling myself out of the water, and you see the plant life starting to regrow on me. And that platform over there, she showed it to me with this big ritual going on, and then the big lightning bolts, and she said that that's what made the cars blow up.
All right.
I have some East Coast friends that are going to be very upset with my horrible accent if they ever watch this.
You know, did you take that to mean, at the time, what did you take that to mean? And what do you think now?
Well, at first I thought that she meant direct, but no, it was just that similar things like magic and big explosions and
Right.
lightning. But she showed me the place, and I remember a ritual summoning this creature out of off the platform. We should go
Right.
take a look. Maybe there's something there. Maybe we need to look for.
Yeah.
If she showed me the place, she remembers it.
Bandora said all of this is part of the corruption that happens secretly, right?
I didn't think that he meant here. Did he? I thought he meant in the Twilight Zone. Sorry, Twilight.
Yes, but that's because the presence is always trying to invade the Twilight realm, not the Twilight Zone. That's Rod Serling's realm. But
sorry about that.
That's
used to watch
all right.
a lot of weird shows when I was a kid, and so it's stuck.
I didn't know they were weird.
But Bandora said that the corruption happens every time that the presence tries to invade the Twilight realm, which also affects our world.
Cycle of life. It's what the Scarab Queen's about. Life, death, and if those are tied, then I think that might be what it is. She has the scarab itself. It represents cycle of life, and her control over it, and the realm of life and death. She's able to. Well, you've seen her power over death.
I've seen it.
And you've seen her power over life. She can heal wounds. So I think maybe Bandora was talking about that cycle that comes and goes. There's something connected there.
Yeah, but the instigator and the way that Bandora was always talking about it was the conquest.
Yes.
It's almost like we are a reaction or a side effect of this attempt to conquer or to corrupt the Twilight Realm.
Yeah. So my question is, how many times has the Scarab Queen been through this, and how many times has she had a host and brought a group here? I'm beginning to wonder if we're not the first suckers.
Go ahead and roll some awarenesses for me.
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, I don't mean that we're suckers in the sucker sense,
I rolled another 12.
Woohoo!
Okay.
My 3 dice.
I've rolled a 12, an 11, and a 12. The last 3 times I've had to roll 2 dice.
I got an 8.
I'm here. I was just getting a die because I always drop
problem.
stuff.
No problem. I've been here the whole time. I was like dodging out to finish my dinner earlier, but I'm here still too. So I was still engaging. I was just trying to finish my dinner.
Aldo, the two of you are talking. Jim and Blue Streak are, just kind of looking around the area and such, since they haven't really been engaging. But you, Kayla is still in the water. And you begin to notice that there are crocodiles that are swimming over towards her.
Whoa. Get out of the water.
Four fairly large crocodiles.
The Jaws music starts to play.
Do we see it too?
I asked for awarenesses. I only got 2, so I assume not.
Okay, I only got 2.
Okay, yes, you are not aware of it at this point.
Well, I'll do awareness. I only got 1 D6, but
do they look like
I got
they're
5.
too close for her to get out safely? If so, he's gonna leap into action. But if it's the type of thing where she can just get out and they won't make it to her, that's.
As you're like, Kayla, get out, and then they start rising up out of the water, and you realize that these crocodile heads are attached to bulking humanoid bodies. As you see this, they have spear weapons in their hands, and Jim and Blue Streak, some men wearing loose clothing, and carrying Kopesh swords at their side, begin walking up to you. And they continue to speak in the language that you don't normally understand, but you are under spell to understand. And they're like, you there, you must come with us. And I just want to get everybody's reaction again. So, Diamond Jim, what is your dice of reaction?
I have a whole whopping 1D.
Okay, I love it. Scarab.
2 dice.
Ghostlight.
3 dice.
Okay. And Blue Streak, either your super speed or your reaction, whichever one's better.
I think they're both 5.
Okay. Awesome.
So I'm going to do reaction.
Well, I'm just asking for my benefit here.
Oh, that's right. We don't wrong. We do.
There. Yep.
Oh.
All right. Aldo, you are aware of what is going on, and you see these soldiers with Kopesh swords moving towards Jim and Unique, Blue Streak. You notice these crocodiles in the water that start to rise up, and you tell Kayla, and she starts to respond, not really understanding what's going on at first, but you realize that she's not going to get away from them in time. So you get basically a surprise round while they're moving and such. Do you have any action at that point?
Yeah, I guess he's going to leap to Kayla's side, and you know what? That's kind of weird. It's daytime, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess he'll try to do the mental paralysis, the way of the wisp on them. Try to disorient them. So basically, he jumps next to Kayla and throws open his cloak and just radiates the light from from his body, and will try to disorient them.
Okay.
And again, you can get up to 4 targets with that.
There are 4 of them.
And I rolled 3 6s and a 4. So 22.
22. That's some good dice rolling there, Tex.
I know. This is very unusual.
Brandon?
Well, I can't comment on anybody's dice rolling after the way my dice behave on you guys week after week. Yes, Alice.
I would at this point like to point out that these serpent men are likely the children and servants of Apep, whose greatest enemy is Ra, and he just exhumed this huge amount of light that makes him kind of look like he might be embodying Ra, so they might not like him so much now.
I am more going with Sobek.
Oh, okay, Sobek.
All right. 22, you say, Aldo?
Yes.
Okay. All right. 12, 13. So that's going to be a failure by 2. 11, that's a failure by 2. Aldo, you just ripped these guys up with that.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
14, still a failure by 2. And last one is 9, 13, failure by 2. They all got right in that same range. The giant crocodile men, not 42, 2. The giant crocodile men are, suddenly taken aback and, seem to jerk away from the light, and are definitely a bit disoriented from it.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take your total damage, and I'm just going to apply it to 2 of them. So basically, you drop 2 out of the fight.
Okay.
All right. So at the start of round 1, the soldier calls out to the lead soldier, and he's like, "You, in the name of our Lord Set, you will come with us." And he is going to go ahead and try and intimidate Diamond Jim, since he's the bigger one. So
Okay.
he is rolling his presence, and you can go ahead and roll to defend.
That would be like composure or will or what?
You can use those by all means. You can, it probably is not in your best interest, but you could be like, I'm large and I just don't care about people yelling at me. But that's only 1 die because you're only that large. Any way that you're able to come up with a good reason that, his words will not have a great effect on you. And although that's something I love in supers, is that, before a fight starts and the soldiers aren't necessarily, swinging yet, but they can still do something to try and, get you guys to comply.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I can use fortitude since I don't really think it can hurt me.
No, it's going to be more social based, so something that would be an appropriate defense on that.
Okay, I guess I'll do composure. It's 2D. I got competency dice. Oops.
Competency dice always go before the roll.
Well, I got 7.
7. Okay. Go ahead and take 1 damage to your will or your composure. As he is yelling out, and one way to look at it is the weight of the situation you guys are in, as you really become aware of the soldiers and these crocodile monsters coming out of a river, that you guys are out of your element here. And Kayla, one of the crocs comes up towards you, as 2 of them seem to be lost in the river suddenly, but he is going to try and spear you.
Okay.
What comes to the river is ours. You are food. How are you defending, Kayla?
Well, given the information I was given earlier, I will use my composure by bluffing them, and I will say, "You toy with the chosen of the Scarab Queen. You toy with her host in the other worlds. You take me out, and she's not going to be happy with you." I'll see if that bluff works. So So I'm going to use composure and see if basically they flinch on that.
Okay.
I got 16.
Okay. He is taken aback suddenly with even the mention of the Scarab Queen's name, and he looks about and then looks at you, and he says, "You do not look like you are hers." But he does not take a swing at you. Blue Streak, you are up with a terrible roll on your initiative in comparison to normal.
Could I use super speed to run across the water and kind of like keep up on it?
Yeah, by all means. That sounds like something that speedsters regularly do.
Okay. And could I follow it up with rapid punching when I get close to them?
Sure. So you're going to run away from the soldiers that are approaching you and go after these crocodiles that are up on Kayla, thinking of spearing her?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you're able to run, over the water. Unlike Kayla, you're not literally in the weeds, and are instead riding above them, and run up to one of the crocodiles, and we'll say it's the crocodile that hasn't gone yet, and try and punch him out.
Well, super speed when it comes to punching him. Punch him as rapidly as I can. 13.
You run up to him and start beating on him, and his hide just seems to absorb the rapid flurry of blows that you deliver to him. And he does not really seem that concerned. And he goes, "There are more offerings. This one is not from the Scarab Queen." And he tries to take a bite on you.
Okay. Crocodiles are kind of lethargic and slow.
So, what are you doing to defend?
I could run around him and see if he tries to catch me.
Sure. So, what are you using for running?
Super running.
I can use my super running.
Yes, that is correct. Okay. So, grab your dice for that. Oh! 17. One of my dice betrayed me, but the others came out true.
I think I matched 17.
Okay, so on a match, you take 1 point of damage, so like normal off your composure, reaction, or fortitude, depending on if you're really realizing that you're in trouble, whether he's slowing you down, or if he actually is hurting you.
I will take it off of my reaction.
Okay. So as you're running, it sounds like you might not be in the weeds, but there's definitely reeds that are growing up in the river, and you might one might grab your ankle and give a little tug onto it and slows you down a little bit.
Okay.
Ghostlight, you are up. You have 2 crocodiles out there. One is really close to you since it came after Kayla, and Blue Streak is out in the water as well.
Yeah, that's the one he's going to go to. He tried to spear Kayla, so he'll just kind of step into range and then give him a ghost shock punch to his belly.
All right.
Kind of try to make himself the primary target as opposed to Kayla. And rolled pretty good. It's a 19.
A 19. All right. You encounter the same thing that Blue Streak does, is that you're punching him and his hide is eating it up, but that energy that discharges from your hand, that seems to have an effect onto him.
Okay.
And so, and he lets out an oof as that light, energy discharges into him, and kind of gives you a sidelong look. Which, since he has to swing his snout around really to see you, it's kind of different than the way it would be in a human-on-human fight.
Yeah. Cool.
The soldiers are going to move up, and seeing that Jim is kind of giving them at least a little bit of their due, they think that he's going to come along peacefully, and so they just move into formation around you. You are now in what's called a target-rich environment, Diamond Jim. We'll get to you in just a second. The Scarab, you are up.
Okay. I stand myself up in the river, and I say, I am the possession of the Scarab Queen, and if you know what's good for you, you'll back off. All of us. This is my entourage. And I am going to use wizardry, and I have power over insects, so all insects right now. So I am going to start calling scarabs to me using it, and they're going to start crawling all over them and nip at them.
You find no beetles respond to your command.
Sure, I will call all insects then. All insects in the area to come and just nip
There's plenty of insect life, but scarabs are not responding to you.
That's fine. 15. That's an activation then. Ooh. 12. 17 is my actual effect.
It's not looking like a good day for crocodile number 1 here. These rising up out of the weeds are these giant mosquitoes. Like, you know, they have a wingspan of about 4 foot wide.
Ooh.
These two things on either side of Kayla just kind of rise up. You're not certain where they were just a second ago. And the two of them fly around, and the crocodile's like trying to defend himself against it, and then one of them literally inserts its proboscis right into the crocodile's eye. He lets out a scream, and he falls back into the water, starts to try and swim away as the mosquito is draining him.
Nice.
And Diamond Jim, you have 4 soldiers around you. They all have their swords out and think that you're going to come with them peacefully. What are you doing?
I'm going to grab one of their swords. And I'm going to... Can I use 2 advantages at the same time?
Well, the advantages you can normally, like size, lets you roll it instead of doing a power. What advantage are you trying to use?
Intimidating. Thought I used along with the size.
So intimidating.
I'm gonna grab one of the swords, bend it in half, stand over them, give them a nice, nasty-looking grin, and tell them, "This is the part where you run."
We're scaring the bleep out of these guys.
What do I do? Can I use like super strength or what?
By all means, because that's a display of your strength without just, you know, beating somebody into submission. That's more like an intimidating attack.
That's 19 altogether.
19 altogether. Okay. Can
I add a die of intimidating?
Intimidating will allow you to re-roll if you want to. I don't know if you rolled well or not, in your opinion.
And if I roll again, I gotta take the second result, or?
I believe you take the better result, but I read so many systems, I always forget how they are.
I believe it's the better, too.
Okay, we'll try again.
And you can use intimidating once a scene for each die that you spend. So it's not like for the rest of the session, though this scene is probably the rest of the session.
Yeah.
But, you know, don't hold back on the re-rolls in supers is my thought.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. $20.
Even better.
I said 19.
Okay. The lead soldier that you know was calling out for you literally just kind of looks at you and just, you know, really realizing your size, just keeps looking up as you're bending down over him, you know, with a big crystalline grin on your face, bending a sword and such, and he just faints.
That's great.
Alright, let me go ahead and clean this up. Doot and doot. Alright, so, All right, Blue Streak, you are up.
Okay. What's closer to me, a crocodile or a soldier?
It is. You are engaged with a crocodile right now.
Okay. If I were to run, in figure eights around him and companions and try to confuse them and have them try to chase me, using my, I think I could use super speed again.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a new round, so you can use anything that's on your sheet again.
Okay, super speed it is.
All right. As you're trying to, like you say, run figure eights around him. God, there were so many more sixes before other dice hit them.
15.
15. You are running the circles around the guy, and he keeps trying to spin after you. By all means, behind you each time, and you can see that he is off his footing at this point because of it.
Does he eventually fall over?
He splashes down into the river. He is still in the fight, but has lost his spear and now is more swimming and more natural crocodile style. The soldier is. The soldiers are going to work together to try and bring Jim down. After that, they are like for the honor of Set, and one of them is going to start working on providing competency dice, but the others have to go before that really matters. The crocodile in the river, having dropped down, lashes his tail out towards where Blue Streak is. And how are you going to avoid this, Blue Streak?
You mean where she was?
Sounds like a reaction or super running or something similar roll on that.
I think reaction would be appropriate.
Aye.
So I'll run out of the way. And since I lost one dice in that, I can only roll 4. My battery is running. Huh. Oh, I didn't do so well. 11.
11. I tie you once again. I tied you both times. I tie you once again. So his tail doesn't really connect, but a blast of water connects with you, basically. You do have to lose 1 die off of resistance. Where are you taking that?
Let me see.
Off non-will, to be specific.
I am going to take it off of Fortitude.
Okay. The soldiers combine their attacks, and grouping up together, they provide a competency die to their new leader, and for the honor of Set, they lay down 1 big strike against Diamond Jim. How are you resisting?
I guess I'll use my fort.
Okay. You shouldn't have a problem with this, unfortunately. No diamond chips today.
19.
They all work together to provide a good opening on you, and you realize that these individuals do train together, just seeing their fighting style and such, and they're able to maneuver an opening that against a normal person would probably have proved pretty deadly after seeing what you did. And then the Kopesh comes in at your diamond form and just stops, and the blade of it just bends as it hits you. Scarab, we're up to you.
Okay. The vines of my dress are going to whip up my train regrowing as the whole time I'm in the water, my train's regrowing out, and as two of the tentacles come up, they kind of turn into Venus flytrap mouths, and then they spit at this guy. And I'm going to use poison control and poison him. I only got 10.
Alright, that is on the crocodile?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And I get out of the water at this point, backing up as it spits at him.
Sure, and you got a what?
10.
Alright, well, it's good enough.
Awesome.
That you guys are wearing him down. It's nickel and diming him, unlike a mosquito to the eye. I sent you a message, by the way, Aldo. And Ghostlight, it is your turn. He is clearing, trying to clear his eyes from this poison. As he's swimming and his arms come up around his head, you realize that he's just really using his legs and his tail. He doesn't need to use his arms while he swims.
Okie doke. And where is? I'm so done with this. Where do I see my messages?
Basically, I was just trying to send it to you, but you have noticed that Isis, Kayla called out that you guys were all representatives of the Scarab Queen, and Isis took off at that point.
Oh no! Oh no! Okay.
As for where you see it, when you open Discord, you'll see on the upper left-hand corner there's a marker where it tells you there's something new.
I see that there's a little Discord insignia, and there's a 1 on it.
Yep, you click that one. That means there's a new message. If there's a 1 on
friends. Okay. Okay. Yeah, there we go. I see it. Okay. And I saw her run away. I noticed that she's missing.
You noticed that she's missing.
Oops.
I noticed that she's missing. Okay. All right. Well, he's going to try to finish the crocodile man by ghosting through him.
Okay.
So I would just like to point out, Brandon, when I was doing my diplomacy, I was emphasizing that the Scarab Queen is, reformed and redeemed and all that. And I rolled really, really high on my diplomacy. So
Alice, if this didn't come through every time you guys mentioned her,
she freaked out anyway. I know. I'm
so
just saying, yep.
You might have wanted to mention that because I've given you major negs on your diplomacy at the time.
Okay.
So you're ghosting through him.
I did mention it at the don't worry about it. It's cool.
Ghosting through him, but my good rolls have ended, so I rolled an 11 on 4 dice.
11. He yowls in pain. This combination of crocodile mouth and human close to intellect creates some awful sounds all of a sudden.
Okay.
And Diamond Jim, you have a group around you.
Well, they ain't being too much problem. Hey, Blue Straight.
Yeah.
Y'all want to trade partners here?
Dancing partners?
Yeah.
All right, then we'll do that. Do-si-do.
All right, so I'm gonna leap away from these guys where the croc guys are.
All right.
And I'm basically gonna use my super leaping, and I'm gonna try to land on one of them.
Hi.
He's gonna have 600 pounds of crystalline entity landing right on top of him. So how do you do something like that? I don't see any rules for like a move through or anything.
You're using your. Go ahead, Aldo.
Yeah, I mean, you're either attacking with. If you're either using your jump to attack or you're using your super strength to attack.
Well, I'll use the super strength.
And there's also there are maneuvers you could use too if you really wanted to.
I didn't see any of those.
Yeah, you have to look in the maneuver section. It's like the all-out attack or the called shot.
Yeah, I keep running the same thing. 19.
Okay. I assume everybody has some basis in Super Mario. And like when Mario lands on something, there's just a squished pancake-like version of it. Well, you guys don't even get to see that because it's at the bottom of the river. But Jim, you land on that crocodile, you pound it right into the muddy bottom of the Nile, and you feel it just stop struggling against you as you smack it to the bottom. Nobody, I think, lost reaction that round. Let me go ahead. Blue Streak, you are up. There are these 3 soldiers that Diamond Jim just literally jumped away from that are pointing in the air and following him down and calling out that that the demon should be brought to Lord Set or Lord Arat Kara.
They're coming towards me.
Yeah.
I'm going to use athleticism to evade their reach. By tumbling and jumping and stuff like that. But I'm going to do it, quickly so I can escape their grasp.
Okay, they're not attacking right now. I was just describing what they're doing, and since the crocodiles are at this point all squished out by you guys, the Sobex it's your action, and I was just describing what they're doing.
Okay, so what do I need to do? Like a resistance, or just stand there and wait?
No, it's your action.
Well, then I'm going to do my athleticism to leap around them to confuse them while I take pot shots at them.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And you can, by all means, use your super speed or super running on that same effect if you want to, Lee.
Okay, well, super running it. So I do the super running while I'm first, and then do the athleticism, or do I?
You just pick one of them.
Oh shoot, super running! I get more dice.
Exactly. That's not a bad one.
17.
17, not good enough, but he was going up against some stiff opposition. You, are able to maneuver in and out, and deliver punches to one of the guys as you're running about. Ghostlight, you are currently swimming in incorporeal, having just gone through it. Then this huge tidal wave, just passes through you and such.
Yes.
Was that of my making?
No, that's a Diamond Jim landing.
Yes.
Oh. I want to see the thunder.
So he'll fly out of that explosion of water and towards those guys that are remaining, and try to flash them all essentially with a burst of light.
Okay.
So let's see. It's a 13 total.
13. Okay. And Lee, you're going to have to resist that 13 as well, because there's only 3 other targets, and you're running around in between them. One of the guys just completely, gets taken over. And starts running away fearfully, dropping the Kopesh that he was using, and just fleeing from you. The others are, by all means, taken aback.
I'm going to use my reaction to resist.
Okay.
Alice, I think the computer's warmed up before they work right.
Well, Aldo, I think you noticed this, but after you cycled your DHCP, it improved a lot for you.
Yeah, Aldo's been great to me.
Yeah.
What'd you get, Lee?
21.
Okay, you easily run between the bursts of light that Ghostlight lets off, and are find has no effect upon you.
I thought it was giving me the spotlight.
All right, Scarab, you're up.
I will at that point. I didn't notice the girl disappear. Oops, I accidentally closed this. I will step. I step out of the water and I point at the one that Blue Streak is engaged with, and I will at that point entangle that one with vines. So the vines that turned into that spit out poison earlier, they shoot out and they just start wrapping around that one, making a nice target for the other two to beat on. So instead of a straight damage, I am going to roll this as a assist for people that are going to beat on him later. I definitely activate on the magic. That is going to be 2 competency dice for. I'm going to say.
Hold on. What? Where are competency dice coming from?
I rolled 13 on my actual spell because I'm entangling the thing to make it easier to beat.
That sounds like an entangle.
Oh, that's true. Ensnare. That's true. So I rolled a 13 on my ensnare ability.
Okay. You have him snug as a bug in a rug, as the saying would go.
Awesome. That should make things a little easier. And that's my action.
Especially if it's a bug.
Competency die for Lee.
Bugs.
Yay for competency die, Lee. You don't forget to write that down.
Oh, thank you.
I did not even think of it when I said that, but yes. All right. Our one guy that is still going sees what he is up against, and he is going to try and beat feet away, screaming as he flees. Diamond Jim. Diamond Jim.
Jim.
Yep.
Your action.
You're up.
I'm up.
Yep.
I'm gonna leap ahead of him and keep him from running away.
Okay, go ahead.
Roll 2D.
Well, you can easily leap to him. That's not the roll part of your action. You're just trying to stop him, which you should have no issue with.
Yeah, I'll just do a little super strength and knock him down.
Okay. Woohoo! I rolled awesome. I'm still going to get owned.
Okay, so 22.
Oh, so you leap in front of him and then just kind of stick your finger out. He runs into your finger and just falls down onto the ground from the force that you put into.
I'm gonna clothesline him instead. I'm not gonna do the finger. I'm gonna do a clothesline.
All right, you drop him with a clothesline. He is there gasping for air after having his windpipe smack into you. So the crocodiles have either been Mario smushed or otherwise dealt with. The soldiers have been fainted and tangled, punched out, blinded, and clotheslined.
All right. Find something to tie him up with.
Sure, there's plenty of plants around that already seem to be doing that of their own accord. So.
And one of them wakes up or comes out of it. I'm going to stand over him, intimidating and scary. You know what, Scarab? Why don't you come on over here and be a little bit intimidating and scary yourself too? Get some big ass bugs on him and stuff, and we'll just stare at him and said, "Where is the Scarab Queen?"
as my bugs are flying about, and these poison-spitting vines with the Venus flytrap mouths are like hissing at them with little green puffs of, the mist coming out of their mouths of the poison.
This sounds like a great comic panel, as the two of you are over him. Are Blue Streak or Ghostlight featured in this comic panel also?
Yep.
Just behind them and to the side, looking menacing, but they have the spotlight on this. On the
yes.
Hi.
The guard, and one of them was never unconscious. Scarab wrapped him up, so you got to do this immediately. He is like the queen. She is at the ziggurat. But to go there, you would meet your doom. You are better off, strangers. I tell you this in honesty. You should flee this place.
I ain't never run for no fight. I ain't about to now.
Well, I love to run.
It will be your doom.
But I love to run.
It will be your doom, but it is yours to wish upon yourself.
All right. Good night.
Bop.
All right.
Scarab, we lost Isis.
What happened?
I don't think she liked your love for the Scarab Queen.
Oh, sorry about that. Force a habit? Think we can find her? I mean, the Scarab Queen's been nothing but good to all of us. She might have done some bad things, but from what I understand, with everything she said, she's definitely here as a prisoner, and she's been trying to fix things. Hey,
listen, that's all true, but I don't think that we need to have that conversation with Isis if we find her again.
I am sorry about that.
That's okay. I'm just pointing it out.
I'll try and tone down my saying that word. I'm surprised she understands me. Most people, when I say Scarab, they don't know what I'm saying. Like I got some sort of weird accent or something.
As far as tracking her,
I don't know what they're talking about. I ain't got no accent.
Exactly.
I just sound like everybody else.
Really?
Brandon, you're frozen.
What's that?
You're frozen. I'm actually going to leave your frozen face. No, that frozen face was so epic. That frozen face was awesome. I wanted to keep that on the video.
Let it go. Let it go.
Okay, let's go.
So, you guys have been pointed in the direction that the Scarab Queen apparently is. You guys have lost Isis.
That way. Heading towards the Scarab Queen. Unless any of you know how to find Isis again. I don't think she should be wandering around by herself.
Well, I don't know. Blue Streak seems pretty handy in the wilderness. I don't know if she could track her, but otherwise.
With all due respect to the lady, I think once you get hooked up with the bug lady, you can do a lot more good than you can right now.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Maybe we can find her and Scarab Queen can convince her herself that she's one of the good guys.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's best that the two of them have a little parlay.
I think maybe so. So we find the Scarab Queen first? Time to go rescue us a Scarab Queen?
Sure.
Let's go save a goddess. A reasonable facsimile thereof.
All right, so you guys are heading that way?
Yep.
Okay, so you guys, head off towards this large, platform that's further off from the verdant lands next to the Nile, back into the dune. And so you see this because it's up on a high platform, a plateau, and such. So that's where you guys saw the platform. And you spend a while moving there, and as you move away from the Nile and into that feeling of death returns to you, Alice, and you are reminded of the images that you saw in the vision behind you. And as you're kind of replaying those in your mind, Scarab Queen shows you things that she has seen before.
Okay.
And so what you saw, she had to have seen.
Right.
And so as you're playing your memory of those images back, of the construction of this platform that you're seeing before you, of, the individual who, is the eternal pharaoh that you identify and such, you realize that she was there during these times.
Okay. Well, I think she's still, whatever happened here before, the Scarab Queen was part of it, or was here, witness. Maybe it's what she's atoning for.
Hmm.
Well, it could be.
And you guys move through, and at a certain point, there's just these empty camps and such that you start to move through of, just basic tents and such, and the tools from thousands of years ago and such, nothing modern that you find. And just there's nothing except this ash that's kind of just blowing in the wind and such, different than the dust.
If what you're saying is true, she might be here, but she might not be a prisoner.
I think she's a prisoner. They were looking for her, trying to strip her from me. I know she's a prisoner because she made it very clear. One of the reasons why she asked me to be her host was to fight these people. She wanted to stop Set. They were her mortal enemies, she said. And that she needed to stop them from bringing the darkness to our world. And she needed my help because she couldn't do it herself.
So, right, but that was her then, but when are we?
That's a good point. I don't know if we're in our now or if we're in then, but everything here seems really ancient and really old. I think that maybe we're now. I think that maybe we're in the now because everything here seems a bit aged. I mean, even ISIS...
ancient as in...
Oh, okay.
Like, that's the level of technology.
Okay.
Yeah. You haven't seen anything that's new technology
no skyscrapers, no, right?
So what you're saying is that we're here to stop her and turn her so that she finds me in the future? That's just hard to get my head around. I mean, wrap my head around that. Well, then let's do it so we can turn her into one of the good guys. I mean...
Hey, I don't know what's going on. I'm just wondering if that's the case.
You have a good point, and we better go in prepared. I mean, she could be one of the bad guys right now, and we might need to do something about that. And then she'll become a good guy, and then maybe she'll find me in the future, and... Oh, wow, that's just getting really weird. Is time travel even possible? Well, I guess I've done a lot of things that ain't possible recently. Wait, you of all people asking that, that's just crazy. Now, even you're believing?
Your accent's changing.
Yeah, I know. I squeaked. I squeaked, I know. Now, even you're a believer, huh?
Hey, it's hard to disbelieve when you're seeing it.
It's true.
Fire Rock, you're a war veteran, a farmer, a mechanic, and I'm walking around and I got formed into being a pure diamond. Anything's possible at this point.
All right, everybody, that's it for tonight. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Chaotic Origins. Good night.
Bye.
Adios, all.
Night.